Hey everyone, I'm going to be explaining Blood and Money really quick. This is our newest event prompt. Here we go. So roleplay changes, I already talked about this one, but 5,000 men is going to be each unit, just to kind of up the numbers for all the warring. The next is going to be gameplay changes, so this is the new city sieging rule. If a kingdom takes out a city's capital and there is no remaining military units in your city, they can spend 5 KP per hex into military, entertainment, or colonizing, and then they get a choice depending on which one they put it in, gaining the following benefits per their choice seen below. You also gain 3 victory points per hex, so that's important to know. If there are still military units, they must be killed before a kingdom can siege. There is also going to be an additional rule right here that you will need to be aware of, that if sieging kingdom takes over half the hexes, the city becomes theirs. So you can't just necessarily hide in a little corner and say, come get me for the entire time. At some point, the city as a whole will hand over to them, or at least what they've controlled up to that point. Now, when you make that decision, you can choose military, which is that all buildings, resources, and magical items are burned, but you gain a town's guard unit. Colonizing, keep all buildings, magical items, and resources on that hex, and then gain 10 ag. Entertainment, all buildings, resources, magical items are destroyed, but you gain 3 happiness. That's your 3 options. Every hex you get to make that choice. Next is Military World Wonders. These are going to be areas on the map that will act differently via war, so for war. And they will be labeled on the map. So the first is the Marshy Divide. Here, units can move at 1/4 speed going through the marsh, unless you've colonized at least 3 hexes on the marsh. You can't give this to any other kingdom, and it reduces half if you're on roads. And you can find all of these on the map if you go there, and they'll be labeled what their name is. The next is Battle Peak. Attacking from waters means you must have at least 1 raider or oarsman to attack. Attacking from land means you have to have 1 ranger or countryman. I'm also going to put in here, I think it's in a lot of other places, or RM approved equivalent. That's going to apply here as well. That just means that I can choose, oh yeah, that unit sounds like it should be able to make it, so I'll allow that one too. But I'm going to be pretty strict with that. The next is the Howling Ice Strait and the sea surrounding it. Any units that pass through must make a DC exploration or military policy check. That will be, if it's not already in here, DC 60 or it dies. You make the check per unit to every 3 hexes passed, rounded down. Same thing here for the requirements, rangers, countrymen, or DM approved. Next is the Labyrinth Sea. Anytime a unit enters this area while traveling, a kingdom who is colonized there will be notified and can allocate forces, irregardless of movement rate, and war incoming units on the hex they are, instead of where you were going to get attacked. So that's really helpful. Next is Allegory Canyons. Kingdom of units who have 3 hexes colonized gain +1 HP when battling in this area. Marbled Bay. Dragons can heal for free here and can be trained via military if barracks is made. I'm going to put and all colonized, meaning you have to have all the hexes of this one colonized. Next is Open Country. Units gain +1 speed when traveling through here. So that is good to know. And +1 speed, just necessarily. You know what, actually I'm just going to change this to say units travel at ×2 speed. Because that's, I think, what I meant to say, how I wanted it explained. Next is the Pine Titan Wilderness. Rangers, countrymen, or RM approved equivalent or base units of kingdoms who have 3 hexes here gain +1 AP the turn after a unit dies from their same kingdom. So if a unit dies and you're warring there, and you have it colonized, then you get an AP per unit that died. And that AP will go for all units. So all of your units will get an additional AP for that next turn. Next is the Verdant Veil. All units fighting here have +1 HP, and dice types don't raise when they are wounded. Next will be the Money side of this, the flip side, the August Broach Society has come out with the Partis Reserve that they claim will serve all the kingdoms in the society for an additional 60 Nix by the next event prompt, and an additional 2 Nix per kingdom per turn after that. That'll be for the rest. So, the kingdoms need to come together and get 60 Nix, and then each kingdom that has currency needs to put 2 Nix towards this each turn for all of this to happen. Their first goal is the Partis Reserve. And I don't want any of that posted. I don't believe, but I can read it, so that's okay. If it's funded by next event prompt turn 39, this is the bare minimum that I can tell you. Each kingdom will choose a policy, and that policy will give out a golden benefit, which will be a weekly free gift that is equal to around at least 50 KP. This would be given to each turn until the end of the game. This would equal nearly 500 extra KP. These are good benefits, I can confirm. More details will be released. Market stability. By turn 45, the market will enter into strong, and all the modifiers will start to go back up. Lastly is the greed roll. This is the only downside to giving them your money. The August Broach Society and the Falconers take your money, reinvest it in hopes to give things back to you. However, this is their job. Taking some chirp off the top of the pile is part of the game. Each turn, there will be a greed roll. The DC will start at 001 for stable, 005 for weak. As I'm writing this, we are in 005. And then each turn, I'll add 1 to this roll, and I will roll, and the roll will be public. If I roll, let's say it's the first turn, if I roll 005 or below, then all of this occurs. Market enters into a lower category. That would mean that it's in the worst volatile category. And then each kingdom with currency will lose 10 happiness, and they will lose 1d20 Nix and not gain their golden ability for 1d3 turns. So that is it. Additionally, on top of that, we had a separate thing happen, and that was that a spell was cast on the Scourge, and the people of Partis got to witness one person murder nearly 100,000 people, and so that is going to send shockwaves throughout the realms. But I am not going to cover that here. You can read all of that if you wish elsewhere. So that is this week's event prompt. Let me know if you have any questions.